Namaskar, community members. So I'm very grateful. Today we have our guest speaker as none other than Prashant Trivedi. He has done some pioneer work when it comes down to Vedic astrology. We all are curious about destiny, which is very strongly linked with Rahu, Ketu, and most importantly, nakshatras. And whomsoever has taken astrology seriously would not have been untouched by the work done by Prashant Trivedi. Apart from that, he's like meditation expert, international spiritual coach, and many internationally renowned clients and people who take advice and guidance from Prashant Trivedi. And I'm very honored that today he has chosen our platform to talk on a very important aspect regarding growth, our wishes, power of manifestation, which in astrology is connected with 11th house. So, Prashant Trivedi, all here with
Yes,
us, talking about 11th house,
yes,
all to you.
yes. You said wish fulfillment. Yes, like in Jyotish, the wish triangle, as we know, the wish triangle is the third, seventh, and 11th house, right? Like the wish.
Yes, yes,
And
Prashant.
I would try to change the word from wish to like more like manifestation. You know,
Okay.
yeah, because wish is in Sanskrit, like poison. Okay, like you know.
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
so so instead of wishing, I would say people want something whenever they want
yes,
something, obviously, and then there's a fulfillment of their wanting
yes,
on
yes,
the earth plane, and 11th house is the only house for that fulfillment of the wanting.
yes,
Amongst all the 12 houses, it's only one. We have only one house which does that. So it becomes an important house for people on the earth plane in that way. So, but what I wanted to actually go into the 11th house thing, which is not talked about like in general, is that teamwork aspect,
yes,
group work aspect. You know,
yes,
for example, like let's see like how things happen on earth. Like anything is done, okay, and you have to build a house or you have to do anything. You have to make anything happen, agriculture happen, anything. Okay, you need multiple people. You need you can't do it by yourself alone. First
yes,
house, you can't do it. You need bunch of people to get together and accomplish anything.
yes, yes,
Okay,
Prashant.
so that getting together and working is 11th house. Okay, that's usually never talked about. Okay, so that's what I wanted to focus on, that getting together and working together, because nothing can happen alone. Everything in this realm, in this plane, requires teamwork, group work for manifesting anything. That's a reality. People know this reality. Okay, all people know that, right? Like, so this is where that this is why 11th house becomes fulfillment, attainment, because together the work is done. When work is done, then you get the house is done or the props are done or whatever, and then you get the bounty and you get the fruits.
Yes.
So that's the aspect, you know, which people that thing. So if you have something to say here, you can. Yeah.
Prashant, I actually, first of
Yeah.
all, PT, it's like I couldn't tell you, you have selected the right platform. I'm the host for this because even in my personal natal chart, I have like four planets in the 11th house. So, 11th house, always, 11th house and 8th house is my focal point of my chart. So, it has
Mm.
always been my innate curiosity about 11th house. And PT, I want your divine insight on this because many times people also talk about fifth 11th axis is about the deeds or good deeds done from the past life. So what do you have to add on this? Because if you have planets in the 11th house, does it tell about that good karma from the past or anything on this?
Okay. I'll explain something to you in this very simply. Okay. 11th means, okay, you will get something. Okay. It's a guarantee. It's a
Oh,
stamp.
wow, wow. Yes,
It's a
yes,
stamp.
yes,
It's a
yes.
stamped guarantee. Okay. And if a stamped guarantee you're getting in this lifetime
Okay.
of getting something, that means there is some previous life good karmas or points, positive points. You have points, from the past life. That's why it's like you can in cashing in this life by having fulfillment in whatever desires, wants, things like that. Okay. So 11th is basically a stamped thing, like about, unless there are other negative factors, mostly it's a more stamped thing. So the whole problem with this thing is that when people get the things, whatever they want, right? In life, then what can happen is, again, you can get lazy,
Okay.
right? Lazy
Hmm.
can set
Hmm.
in,
Hmm.
or ego can set in.
Hmm.
Okay. And when ego sets in, you know that if you think whatever I want happens, then the ego sets in, and we get back into the sixth house. Sixth house is the Shad we discussed last time,
Yes.
in the
Yes.
sixth house. So the Shad come in. So that's why 11th is very intimately connected to sixth, actually.
Okay.
Is the sixth from sixth? Bhavat Bhavam,
Yes. Oh, wow. Yes. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So usually people can't understand how 11 and 6 are connected. Okay, one is, like more negative aspects, and one is all positive aspects. Okay, that's
Yes.
what that's how people say. But the thing is with 11th house is that the positive aspects bring you back to the sixth house.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Hmm.
But if not control, if you not, again, the whole point of 11th house is Saturn. Okay,
Hmm.
Aquarius,
Yes.
ruled by Saturn. So what do you have to have while your things are getting fulfilled? Humility. Saturn, that control, you know, that discipline. That's the part, you
Yes.
know, people won't talk about. People will talk about the Karaka as Jupiter,
Hmm.
right? Expansion.
Yes.
But once that expansion happens, to keep the feet on the ground, to stay grounded, to stay humble, where is that going to come from?
Yes. Yes.
Saturn.
Saturn. Saturn. Yes. Yes.
Right, right,
Yes.
right. Like,
Yes.
so again, this is the aspect. That's why the rishis, in the
Hmm.
past, that's why they were calling it like a difficult house. It's some sort of a obstacle. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
When how should wish fulfillment or want fulfillment or desire fulfillment be an obstacle? Okay.
Yes.
Because once that happens,
Hmm.
people tend to get lazy and egotistical, right?
Hmm.
Which then will, again, if you're in a group or team, will destroy that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. 11th house will
Hmm. Yeah.
suffer
It will destroy. Yes.
from its
Yes.
own thing,
Thanks.
from its own results, its own
So,
nature.
So,
Yeah.
Prashant, just because you have mentioned like about the Saturn's connection because of the Kal
Mm.
Purush Aquarius connection, and I'm
Yeah.
sure because you also have very strong Aquarius prominence
Yeah.
in your life.
Yes. Yeah.
If you were to say, for example, Prashant, like if you have strong 11th house, like the way many people say, the more the planets are in the second half of the chart, you get the growth in the second half. Or let's say, for example, we see many people who have major rise, like for example you started very small and with the passage of life you have grown tremendously. So
Mm.
when we talk about your clout, your influence, the growth, so how do you put the 11th house piece in it in terms
All
of
right.
your growth in the life?
Right. Okay. First, 11th house works all the time. First, let's understand that. Okay. If you're born, just born, and you're just starting, and you are born with a silver spoon in the mouth, like they say, like you're born in a very rich, influential family,
Yes.
they have that thing, then
So you have a
11 is
good start.
working.
Yeah,
So
you have a good start.
then 11 is working. So you are starting with dashas,
Yes.
which have 11 dominant, dominant, even in the childhood.
Childhood.
Now, later you might run dashas which are not 11 dominant,
Okay.
then you will have a fall later. Okay, that's what happens to some people. They start off in very good and very nice. And some people don't run 11 dominant things in the first half of life. They're
Yes.
dashas, because that's where the dasha system comes into play. Okay, the dashas might not be 11 oriented. Okay, but in second half of life, there are dashas which are 11 oriented. So
Yes.
they will see a rise later in life.
Yes.
It's not like
Yes.
11 is not working. 11 works all the time. Okay, from childhood. I call it the automatic house, actually.
Okay.
11 is only auto house in the out of
Okay.
12th.
Okay.
Auto in the sense that it gives its results automatically without you doing anything.
So,
Like every other house requires some effort, right? Like,
yes, yes,
but in 11, what effort is there? Like, if you're born straight right now in this life into a family which has that thing, then it's not your any effort in this. You're not doing anything.
yes,
It's just been
yes,
given to you. Things which is
yes,
just given to you,
yes,
okay,
yes, yes.
without any effort in this
Efforts.
lifetime. It's efforts from previous lifetime. Okay.
Mm.
It's not like you have efforts from previous lifetime, but not in this one. Okay, so that part is clear. So it's not 11,000 is for all life. It's not like for the beginning or middle or end. But depending on the dashas, different people, you can see the ups
So,
and downs.
PT, if you were to recommend, like, for example, if a person has ascendant Lord in the 11th house, so what could be your divine advice to the life path of this person? Or if someone's 7th house Lord is in the 11th, what could be your advice for navigating the marriage? Or someone's 10th Lord is in the 11th house, what could be divine advice to how to navigate your career? What do you have to say on this?
I mean, that's very simple. I mean, keep your feet on the ground. Okay, in any situation, because 11th will give you fulfillment. Whatever you want, some people want a promotion, they'll get the promotion. Whatever seventh house dealing they want, whatever business or whatever, they can get gains in that. First house, you can gain using your body, like mortals and stuff have, you
Yes,
know,
yes. Mm,
gain using your
mm,
cells, you
mm,
know. So, I mean, so that basically gives you gain through whatever house it is connected with. 11th house gives you gain through whatever
mm.
house connects to it. Okay, eighth, inheritance and things like that, or sudden,
Yeah,
you know, yeah,
inheritance, yes.
so inheritance or sudden gains, through different things. But my point is that when you get all of that gain or any gain, what are you going to do after that? Advice comes after that. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Will you lose your head? Will you go crazy?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes,
That's the point. So I think for 11th house, the best thing is to learn teamwork and be in a group and team situation where you have to keep your ego down in order to work with the team, right? Like you can't, you have to sublimate your ego, which again, if you reduce the ego, you reduce your shadripus in the sixth house. Okay.
PT, I like this the kind of wisdom you have given that like the way I asked that if the seventh lord is in the 11th, so be a part of the group collective. So that's how you will benefit because I've seen some of the people like they start their business and automatically everyone starts getting together. Even people are like some of the businesses and people are so lucky
Yeah.
that they get the volunteers. They don't even want to get paid. They just want to contribute. So that means it's
Yes.
the 11th house which is attracting all these
Attracting. Yes.
support.
Yes. 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 But after that, to balance, organize, like, see, 10th is also a house of organization. So whenever you have to get people together, you have two houses for that. 10th and
Yes.
11th. Okay.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
get people together in 10th, you can get people together in 11th. Okay.
Yes.
Both have that,
Yes.
the Saturn
Yes.
like mark on
Yes.
them, the Capricorn and Aquarius, right? Like, so,
Yes.
so now the thing is that whenever that is happening, after that, like, not losing your head, keeping a level head
Yeah.
becomes the most important thing, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
because when things start working out,
Hmm.
you have to keep a level headed with them. That's where that's where the connection to the sixth house, huge. Because once you that thing and ego comes, then the Shadrupus comes, and sixth gets more powerful, and 11 loses power. So that's why it's enemy and friend.
PT, I will definitely ask you the shadow side of the 11th house, but
Yeah,
starting first with the good side. So, like the way
yeah,
I still remember when I started my serious astrology journey, it always began with my favorite astrology work of yours on Rahu Ketu. So, even you have, like, in your work, have appreciated Rahu's presence in the 11th house. I still remember
yes, yes, yes,
to my mind.
yes.
So, when we talk about like planets, so do you feel that Rahu in the 11th house could be very supportive for the massive growth? Like we know that expansion generally comes from
Okay.
Rahu or Jupiter. So what do you have to
Yeah.
say, like which all planets here or So yeah, my first question on this is when we start placing planets and in the modern day Kaliyug of growth
Yeah.
and sudden opportunities, how much do you think the potential and power planets like Jupiter and Rahu holds when they are placed here?
Okay, there's not just Jupiter and Rahu, which, I mean, 11th house works no matter what is the Lord, whether it can be
Okay.
Mercury, Venus, Moon. The point is Saturn here. Okay, because it's the Saturn is Aquarius, right? And Rahu is also Aquarius. Okay, both are
Yes,
connected.
yes, yes.
But even Rahu's things can't happen on Earth plane until Saturn signs off on it. Okay. What happens on Earth is only what Saturn signs off on in practical reality. Nothing happens
Yes.
in practical earthly reality which Saturn does not sign on. Saturn's signature happens first, rest all happens later.
But
So
after, yes,
what people consider good karma or whatever is from past is like Saturn is saying, okay, you've done this, like in this life, I'm allowing this. Whatever it is allowing in this life is the 11th house. Okay. It is the final, like what it is allows, 10th, 11th house, basically. So 11th is the next that thing. So that is what Saturn is allowing. Okay. Now that thing can be given through whatever grahas. Obviously, Rahu would go in certain fields, like right now, like internet and stuff, right? Which is
mm,
expansive by itself.
okay.
You
Yes,
know, we put this thing up, like so many people can watch it. Earlier, you do these kind of things in a room,
yes,
15, 20 people will hear it. Okay.
yes, yes,
So that Rahu's expansive side in Aquarius is already happening through the communication, mass communication. Okay. Okay. So that kind of thing is again a 11th house thing. Like internet is 11th house
okay,
thing.
okay,
Okay, by itself, which is the Rahu element automatically. So
yes,
so that where but Saturn still is signing off on people in whatever the 11 limit would be, you know, for different people like and beings,
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
like some people 11 will give them like you said business worth certain amount and certain that
yes,
thing. That's the
yes,
ceiling. It's called the ceiling, right? Like what in the financial term ceiling. Another
yes,
person's ceiling will be this. This is
yes,
11,000 only. But
yes,
what is the difference in the levels of ceiling? That Saturn is deciding. Okay. Other grahas like Rahu, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, anything, they are subject to that ceiling. Okay. They are not the
yes,
ones providing the ceiling. Okay. But obviously, again, 11th also works. Funny thing, what I'd like to say about 11th is like, is your want, right? Like, so if you want nothing, it can give you nothing too, right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Like,
yes,
but 11th starts working where your want starts. You know, what you want. What do you want? Okay. It goes as per that. Otherwise, it's automatic. Once that want starts, 11th thing is automatic. It starts working towards that want automatically.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
PT, because lately there was a time when,
Yeah.
just the really astrology has always been a household cultural thing in India, in the
Yeah.
Bharat, and afterwards, like from couple of last few years I've been seeing that there has been lot which has been talked about like law of attraction on the power of manifestation. So do you also believe this thing that if you have a strong 11th house, you have potent 11th house, or you are in a dasha of the 11th house, that means your power of visualization and manifestation is going to be comparatively stronger compared to a person who is, for example,
Mm.
running a 4th house placed planets
Mm.
dasha or 6th house
No,
placed planets
no,
dasha?
no. The the visualization doesn't come from 11th house. Visualization comes from 5th house or ninth, 5 and 9, which are similar houses.
Okay.
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 Visualization comes from 5th and ninth. That are the
Yes.
originators of,
Yes. Yes.
visualization. Manifestation comes from 11th.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So let's clear that up. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So 11th is not the thing giving the visualization ever. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What you want, what you like is coming from 5th.
Yes.
Okay. Which is, and it's another sequence 9,000, you know, 5, 5. Okay. So those are the things which are driving that. Okay. And if a ninth drives it, it's even better because in that you have a sense of intelligence and understanding. You know, not just going by liking. For example, a little kid likes toffees. Okay, 5th house. I like toffees, it says. Then 11th house gives it thousands of toffees. Okay. Now, if it eats all those toffees, it eats, it'll have a stomach ache, it might even end up in hospital. Okay. That's
Yes.
the 12th house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So the point is the sense part. 11th gives you things, but it doesn't give you necessarily the intelligence,
Okay.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Just like a boon, like, Shiv is Aquarius, gives boons
Yes.
to the demons and asuras.
Yes. Yes.
So 11th house is like a boon.
Okay.
You got the boon.
So,
Now,
yeah, PT, that brings us to this part of discussion where at the
yeah,
beginning you talked about that
yeah,
11th is 6th from 6. If we use the Bhavat Bhavam, it is
yeah,
Trishadaya Bhava as well. So
yeah,
now, if I were to ask, and because again, PT, I'm sure that less percentage of people see you just only astrologer, more people see you for your wisdom, divine, spiritual depth. So,
yeah,
for example, and the good part and the beauty of the spiritual and divine enlightened people is that sometimes when the devotee comes to them, devotee does not know that the wish I'm asking for, how bad it could be for me. They cannot see
yes,
that. But the spiritual saint in front of them, enlightened person, knows this thing that, bro, the wish you are asking for a job or a wife or with what kind of bad fate it will bring to you. So now, if I were to ask you the shadow side of the 11th house, how would you explain it? Like, if I were to know that, okay, what wish of mine is good for me, bad for me, so what is
okay.
the shadow side of 11th house, PT?
The shadow side is like, again, I said, like, it requires a lot of humility. Whenever things work out for you, like, you should understand, like, normally when people start, things work out for them in anything, like, human being, you take a human being, things work out for them in anything. That means 11th is happening. Okay. 10 or 11 is happening. Okay. That means that person will get, like, oh, ego thing, right? Like, immediately, like,
Okay.
to stay humble when things are going for you,
Okay.
right? Is the challenge of the 11th house. Okay. Just like once you got the boon from a deity like Shiv, to stay humble and after that and not misutilize that power you've got. That's where the challenge, right? That's where fifth house and ninth house are the key to it. They are the houses which will balance your intelligence plus your wisdom. Okay, those are the things which are required the most in 11th house. That's why a lot of people, if you notice that a lot of people who win lottery, like this, okay, let's say 811 has happened in their life.
Yes.
Suddenly
Yes.
they have millions. Okay.
Yes.
And a lot of these people don't even last 2, 3 years
Yeah,
after that.
sometimes the car which you have won in lottery, you end up in a crash accident in the same car. It's
Yeah,
very true.
because people are very that thing, like what happens is that you lose your ground. Okay.
Okay.
Because why is it? It's air, right? 11 is still air. There's no
Yes, very
earthiness
true.
here.
No earthiness, no earthiness. Very true. Yes.
It's air, right? Like, so
Yes.
you're flying, right? Okay. So the thing is that, like, again, the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, those kind of things, earthiness, connection
Yes.
to earth, groundedness,
Hmm.
gratitude for everything,
Yes.
that,
Yes.
feet on the ground, head in the clouds, but feet on the ground. That is the main important thing for the 11th house. If
And
you don't have
PT,
feet on the ground, and 11th house happens, you know, things are
yeah,
gonna,
how the eventual
yeah,
outcome is going to be. And PT on
yeah,
this as well, because I'm sure like a lot of the audience and listeners who are like watching this, listening to this, would have some connection in their active dashas or in their natal birth chart with 11th house. Same like the way I mentioned, I have my 4 planets. Even if I
yeah,
include Bhavchalit, 5 planets. But
yeah,
but it comes with a catch. Because of the vicinity with the sun, a lot of them are combust. So now my
yeah,
question is on the combust and retrograde, because again, a lot of the people come to this conclusion that, okay, if it is you have planets in the 11th house but they are combust, that means you have to put extra efforts. And some people, I don't have any planet retrograde there, some
mm,
people also say that, oh, if you have retrograde planet in the 11th house,
yeah,
it was a wish
yeah.
impending from the last life. So
No,
what do you
no,
have to
no,
say on that?
no, no. No, 11th house is not concerned about combust or retrograde or anything. 11 means 11. Okay. It
Okay,
doesn't care,
okay,
it doesn't care about any of these things. It doesn't care about, no, but no houses care about those things. But like, again, that is these things, I don't want to go into the whole discussion about what combustion and that
yes,
retrogression
yes.
means in this particular chat. But let's just say like for 11th house, it makes no difference. The only thing which will make difference is like how many levels it's functioning on. If it's in your nakshatra level, it's in your sub lord level or sub lord level. How many times it's functioning, that will be increase the strength of 11.
Hmm.
Okay. And it should not be by the Badhakas, like 6, 8, 12 can stop 11
Hmm.
strength. That's more the thing. They can stop, you know, not individually, but together they can stop 11s,
Okay.
like 6 and 12 together, 8 and 12 together. These can stop 11. Okay. That thing. But otherwise, 11 by itself is 11. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Okay. Okay.
none of
Okay.
these things stop it. Okay.
Sure.
I hope.
And PT, this question I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you. I couldn't have a better speaker for answering this question than you, and I'm so grateful that you are right now with me.
Yeah.
Universe gave me this opportunity. My this question I even wrote it down. So my question is word by word: how to discern whether 11th house desires are serving one's dharma or creating further karmic entrapment?
That's why for 11th house, okay, whenever 11th house is there, whatever you're doing, right, should be for the good of humanity, good of everyone. Okay. Now you have to look like if I take this action, okay, if I'm making something, for example, okay, will that be good for people or will it be bad for people? Money can be made right now through millions of ways. Okay.
Yes.
And gains can be had from millions of ways. Okay. But you have to look at whether what you're doing, does it uplift people in a material way, physical,
Yes.
mental way, and spiritual way? Okay.
Yes.
You have to look at these things yourself. That's your responsibility, your Saturn responsibility, your Jupiter responsibility. Ninth house, 10, 11, 12, to see the complete picture. Okay. Before doing the karma or utilizing 11th house. Like, you can be selfish about it. Okay. I don't care what happens to anyone as long as I gain, right?
Yes.
That can be one mindset. Okay. Or
Yes.
the mindset can be that if I'm doing something, how it will help. If I have a project, if I'm putting people together to do something, how does it help other people? What do they get from it? Do they get something positive from it? Or do they get something negative? If they get something positive from it, you are doing well. You're doing the 11th house thing. Manifestation is happening and you're getting good karmas also. Okay.
That's true.
But the same thing if you take in the negative direction, which I have always said, like people who have more money and more fame and they are more position of responsibility because everything they do has effect on
Or the
thousands
common
and
man, or
millions of
the
millions
thousands,
of
billions
people.
of people.
Your
Yes.
people. So then the if you do a wrong action, then the whole thing is 11 fold. Again, 11 will amplify that also. 11 doesn't amplify just the good things. It
It amplify
amplifies
bad things.
everything.
Everything. Everything. Everything.
Yeah. So so
Yes.
so so that's why the intelligence, the five, is the very counterpart. Intelligence has to be very well developed, connected to divine, like nine.
Yes.
So that's why five and nine are the Lakshmi houses.
Wow. That's true.
Three
That's
houses.
true.
11th is not.
Wow.
Okay. Even though
That's true.
11th is giving everything,
Yes.
then why are five and nine considered Shri houses by Parashar? Because that sense has to be there. If you don't put that sense, you will misutilize 11 and gain a lot of negative karmas for the future lives. Then a
Yes.
lot of future lives without any 11.
PT, that reminds me of that
Yeah.
story. Once I heard that someone's like, it says, it has been mentioned in the epics that Ravan wanted his son Meghnad to be invincible, and he put
Yeah.
all the planets in the 11th house so that they will be forced to fulfill his wish. But the Shani
Yeah.
Devata just put his feet in the
In the
12th at
12th,
the last minute.
in the Chalit.
Chalit,
That was
chalit,
not in the Rashi, not in the Rashi, in the Chalit. Yeah.
chalit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I guess that was the only reason. And PT, one more thing. Just because, apart from the astrological context, from the material context as well, let's say, for example, when we talk about someone like you, divine, enlightened, that level of chetana, conscious awareness. So, in from the Yoga Sutras point of view, from the consciousness perspective, will it be a right statement to make that if you have beautiful, strong 11th house, so you have a stronger awakened conscious awareness, or it has more to do, consciousness has more to do with the fifth house, eighth house, 12th house? What do you have to say on the 11th house in terms of the consciousness?
I mean, the point is, 5 and 9 are the consciousness. I think 159 axis is the
Okay.
self and the consciousness axis. Okay. 11th is actually basically checking, I mean, if I look at it from that point of view, it's checking whether you can uh, manifest on earth for everyone's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Without ego
Okay.
in a team. And if you're able to do that, then you are able to get out of cycle of birth and death. 12
Hmm.
is the final check,
Hmm.
right? Saturn's
Hmm.
final check of you before you can like exit the cycle of birth and death. That's what 11th house is there. But people don't see it like that. People will see it like it's just for me to get personal gain, right?
Yes. Hmm.
That's how normal person would see it. Like whatever I want, like normal person cares about I want this, and if that happens, they're happy. Okay, but happy for how long? That's the question. So 11th house can give you things. Okay, as for your selfish thing also, but it doesn't guarantee satisfaction. 11th is not about, it's not guaranteeing satisfaction. You'll be satisfied. If you get this, you might want more. If you get that, you
Means
might want
11th house
more.
will keep
Okay.
amplifying. It will
Keep
keep
amplifying.
multiplying.
Like, so it's not going to say like I'm satisfied. Okay. So the whole point is to actually look at the thing whether it's not whether you are satisfied, because nobody can actually get satisfied on earth plane. Okay. That's
And I
not
guess,
possible.
Apiti,
Yeah.
that's the reason you connected. You are the first speaker and the pioneer in this, that you connected Aquarius as a co-lord with Rahu.
Yeah.
Aquarius 11th
Yeah.
house with as with Rahu, because yeah, Rahu
Yeah.
just gives you desires which can never be fulfilled. It's always
Yeah. Yeah.
insatiable appetite.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Coming on to this only, PT, if I were to ask you this question, like, for example, so how to consciously channel 11th house energy without falling into greed or attracting hidden enmity? Because obviously, like, 11th house puts you in the public's eye, right? So there's a lot of the evil eye, a lot of the comparison, judgments, biasness. Um, you will be subjected to. You will be subjected to. So what do
Yeah.
you have to say on this?
Yeah, you have to do centering, you have to do meditation, you have to do grounding, you have to do
Very
all the spiritual practices, okay? Repetitions of the pure principles, praises of higher and divine, all the things have to be done in order to control the 11th
true.
properly and guide it in the correct direction for good of everyone so that you can exit in the 12th. Like 12th is the actual exit, like out of the cycle of birth and death, if used properly. Okay. So 11th is the final test, in that way. You're getting things, things are happening, and still you're not losing your head. You're still being grounded, you still care about everyone's
Yes.
well-being and benefit. Do you know what I'm saying? Overall of
Yes.
humanity as a
Yes.
whole. So that's where the humanitarian aspect comes
Yes.
comes in. Like that's the whole that thing of it. Like, so that Saturn, like that breaks that,
Yes.
the
Yes.
humility, you know, will counter the Rahu aspect
Yes.
of
Yes.
the 11th house. So that's where I would suggest, so for that, all the things which, I have taught in the world right now, I'm teaching meditation or grounding and all these things to people. They are to counter this. So beings which go in that way, they actually don't fall into that and are able to utilize their blessings from the past lives, which come through the 11th house in a positive way for everyone's benefit.
PT, on this as well, like, we have covered all the different verticals of the 11th house. Now,
Yeah.
some people also say that, like, I keep on coming across many people who have many titles. Like, for example, even in military, you see people with many medals, some people who are the Nobel Prize winner and all of that. So, in
Mm.
the society, with a society obsessed with titles, where
Yeah.
everyone is running for that nameplate outside their office,
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
workplace and all. So how much you think like 11th house, like is it the 10th house to say that okay 10th house is important for you to have that status in the society? Where would you place the 11th house puzzle in terms of the society obsessed with titles?
Titles. Okay. Titles is more 10th house. Okay. As a whole. Okay. A lot of 11th house people can actually be underground and not be in the public eye. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Or not necessarily. For example, like a lot of finance people in the world, like ones who have the biggest amount of finance control, and
Hmm.
you never hear of them. The 11th house people, a lot of those people, you never hear of them. You never hear their name in public. But whatever masses see is more 10th house characters. So, like these kind of getting all these, even military, the titles, and that's more 10th house. Okay. So it's 10 Capricorn. Okay. That's
Okay,
different from like, yeah, like 11 can be very not necessarily in the forefront
okay,
of things.
okay.
Like even if you're running a team,
Hmm.
okay, and you're running the team, you can run it from the back. The team will be in the forefront, but you will be in the
Yes,
back.
yes,
So you are the 11th house Sutradhar,
yes.
but the team is there in the front. Okay, right? Like so 11 can function like that. Okay. 10 is always seen. Okay. Always seen things or the whole exposure thing is 10. Okay. That's very different from 11. Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so I just
And
want to give that.
Prashant,
Give,
one more thing, because you have actually made it very elaborative, very clear, the way you have made a distinction between the fifth and ninth, like joint house,
yeah,
distinguishing it with a very narrow way, with a narrow thin line, how 11th house differentiate. Okay, let me ask you one tricky question. Okay, we have discussed so far that 11th house has a shadow side to it because it is Trishadaya Bhava. It is like
yeah.
a Bhavat Bhavam from the sixth house, Badhak house. Okay, let me ask you, PT. Many people, when it comes down to the gains, which can come from the eighth and which can come from 11th. We know that eighth house can give you lottery, like a sudden inventions and all of that.
No,
So
but it's
how
not
would
8th
you?
house which is giving. 8th house is not giving. Again, 11th is giving. 8 has to connect to 11 for you to get that gain. No,
Okay,
even if you want more 10th house, if it connects to 11, you get more.
okay, okay.
You can get by itself also. Okay, but you have to understand 8 is not giving it. 8 is just 11 is giving. Okay. Okay. Giving, there is
You,
only one house. In all 12, only 11th house is the giving house.
wow.
No other house gives.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. You know, the way again, PT, I do not know how many other listeners have their important planets in the 11th house, but my four and five planets in the 11th house, that makes me fulfilled. Oh my God, my soul is so replenished.
I'm not sure about fulfill. I mean, it's a question of like when you like how to use it is the biggest trick rather than getting something, getting for the right. Like say 11th house only work functions as per what you're, I think what you want. Like to even get clarity on what you
Yes.
want and what you exactly is a hard, tough thing. Okay. So it's not, yeah. So like I always warn people, okay, whenever that thing.
And because PT, now we have almost reached the end of this
Yeah.
discussion. So
Yeah.
one closing question on this or a takeaway for the listeners dealing with a blocked or heavy 11th house. What is your suggestion? Because see, PT, I'll tell you, in certain religions and faith, service is a natural part of their lifestyle. For example, when we talk about Sikhism, I've seen growing up like they emphasize more on the seva, langar, guru seva. So that's ingrained in them. But if you have to actually give advice to anyone, the takeaway for the listeners dealing with a blocked and heavy 11th house, I'll tell you here, PT, because see, sometimes we see people like you're born in a small house, in a lifespan, you have touched the lives of many people, traveled the world, gained the
Yeah.
knowledge, build assets, and they're like those people. I feel sorry for them. They are born in a small thing with a narrow mind and they die in this without building, manifesting much more. So it means in a way
Yes.
the 11th house was
I,
blocked.
I get your point, but like the point is, see, the understanding is that in this world, 11th is our house is not for everybody. Like not everybody's gonna do 11th house things in this world first. A lot of people, like for example, like I said, like if you are doing third house and sixth house, you're just doing manual labor, for example. Okay, third and sixth house. Okay,
Yes,
you can
yes,
still
yes.
do that thing. You can still live. Okay. And then you can do your spiritual practice
Yes.
and get out of cycle of birth. You don't necessarily have to do, you don't have an
Yes.
11, you're just doing 3, 6. Even then, if you do your spiritual practice, then it's all okay. Okay. Which for 11th house person will be like more like a boxed in kind of life. But doesn't matter. Do you know what I'm saying? 11th is not for everything. Like in 10th house also, like for example, somebody has 10th house. Okay, they can work in the 10th. The 10th requires work. All other houses like 3rd, 6th, 10th, they require work. Like 11th is a house which doesn't necessarily require work. Okay. Things can happen by itself. Manifestation can happen by itself without work. Like in 10, you'll do the work and you will get a platform and people will know you from your work, and that kind of thing. 10th house gives as much work you put in, as much you will
Results.
get.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Then
Yes.
the third, 6th house the same, third house the same,
Yes.
fourth, everything, all of the houses function on that sort of, you know, um, way. Like, for example,
Mm.
like if you're researching in 8th house, how much research effort you will put, how much
Yes.
you'll get to that thing.
So PD,
Yeah.
so what is
Yeah.
your advice for someone dealing with blocked or heavy 11th house? What is your wisdom for them?
But I mean, there's no block 11th house first. First,
Okay.
that's a
Okay.
misnomer.
Okay. Okay.
Only point is that for dealing with 11th house first, you have to be very clear about what you want. Okay. And then that clarity has to be, so whatever work has to be done for that, you have to do that first, which is the clarity in the 5th house, in the intelligence. Okay. This is what I want. Like, if somebody wants to get on cycle of burden, so they have to be clear about that. Then they'll use 11th in that way. Okay. Okay. It's a question about what you want and why do you want it and what will it do for everyone else
For
if it gets
everyone else.
manifested
For
for
everyone
everyone
else.
else, for the whole,
What?
like,
11th. Yes. Yes.
yeah, like, because it is like what use will it be for everyone else, so then that's where you get the bigger picture of 10th, 11th house, like they are bigger picture
So that
houses.
means the
And yeah,
intent and intention which the
yeah,
fifth house is like a light which is throwing the fifth house which is throwing in the 11th, the intent that will
yeah,
decide
decide that's the axis, right? That's why it's the axis.
access.
I believe.
Very good. Thanks a lot, PT. I couldn't tell you how I'm sure our audience would have benefited a lot because of this
Yeah,
wisdom which you have imparted. Because, yes, 11th house, all this like wisdom and what is like, helping you evolve or creating more Rananu Bandhan or like karmic entrapment. Our
yeah,
audience would have definitely benefited from this. And on this note, PT, because I always ask
yeah,
for my guest speakers, that experts, that if the audience, after listening to all of this, if the audience want to connect with you, they want to get some guidance, meditation lessons, coaching, teachings, anything. So, what is the right platform? How can they connect with you?
I mean, my main website is lotusocean.net. People can type in lotusocean.net and they'll reach their lotusocean.net, and
Okay.
they can, yeah, access whatever they want from there. Yeah.
So on this note, PT, thanks a lot. I couldn't tell you like they were like prevailing circumstances because of which initially I was like I left it in the hands of the universe that okay it does not look
Yeah.
feasible how it will happen, but say okay if universe wants this discussion to get materialized, it will happen.
Yeah.
I'm very honored, very grateful, PT, and after
Yes.
this I will still keep in touch and look forward to another chance for having another divine discussion with you. Dhanyavad.
Yes. Yes.